Hey guys, it's Ash. Sorry I haven't made a video in ages, but I think like a lot of people, I've noticed they kind of had a lull over the last week or two because it seemed like we were being really hit by pretty intense energies. Um, but anyway, I'm trying to kind of get my vibration up. At the moment, I'm in the city, and yeah, it's I just right now I'm like I've got static on me, and there's something like it actually wrapped around my throat, which I've been working to get rid of, and but even the clearing, I just haven't had the willpower to kind of to work with my guides and so on to actually get rid of the stuff, just because I've had no kind of energy to do it. But anyway, today I just wanted to talk about something, downloads that I had, that I wanted to make videos about maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, but didn't. And that's basically what, my base, if you want to think in computer terms, like my base operating system for my soul is. And that's three things, which are, peace, compassion being one of the most important ones, and love. Now, I'm not saying that I'm always coming from that place, because I've had lots of issues to deal with, anger issues and resentment and all sorts of things like that, as most people do. I don't think there's anyone on the planet right now that can say that they've worked through all their issues and that they're a perfect being or anything like that. We're all equal and we're all going through similar things. And basically, if someone says that they're above everyone else or whatever, I don't believe it. Sorry, but anyway, I thought I'd just talk a bit about how like I grew up and why I've been a pretty kind of like fiery person. I'm like a dual, like go from extreme fire to really loving and compassionate. And that's been my personality throughout my whole life, kind of switching between the two. But yeah, basically, I grew up, from when I was a kid. I grew up with two atheist parents, but even when I was a little kid, I already knew I had a real spiritual sense, even then, and I understood the Christian concepts, even though I'm not a part of any religion, never have been, but you know, when I heard the concepts, even as a child, of love thy neighbor, do unto others, and he who cast the first stone, like they made sense to me, like straight away. Because even when I was a little kid in primary school, maybe you guys can relate to this, there was already a hierarchical structure. It was already there, even just as little kids. You already had a hierarchy of the cool kids, um, the nerds, and the you know people into sport and stuff like that. And my personality has always been never to stick to any one group. So I can relate to all the different groups. And but I noticed that mainly it was the cool people, the ones that basically excluded others, because I was proud of, I was a bit of a nerd, and I was proud of it. Loved Star Wars, loved, all that stuff. But at the same time, I was into martial arts. Even, I started training when I was in primary school. And I used to actually train other kids, even in grade 4 and stuff, right up, in fact, from 4 right up into high school. I used to do stuff like parkour, what they talk about parkour, or like ninja training and all this sort of stuff. Um, but I started to really more resonate with the nerds or with the more working class kids, because I could see more and more that there was this hierarchical structure where they would basically just exclude people because of the way they dressed, what they were into, all this sort of stuff. I just always thought that was just ridiculous. um, and to this day, like I still have resentment um, when I see groups, excluding others, and not allowing them to be just express themselves as they as they are, because really it's everyone's right to be your own person. You shouldn't be told, basically, or excluded from groups and so on. I think it's silly, and it's anyway. But the point of this is I started to see that lack of compassion, the lack of, and also not able to, people. So if you apply the do unto others, say in that respect, whether it's primary school, high school, or out of high school right now, basically you've got, it seems to me to be an inability for people to put themselves in another person's shoes, and it often comes from egotism and narcissism. That's what I've seen as one of the biggest problems on this planet, just in the way people relate to each other in these hierarchical structures. And so without, and by the way, when I say egotism, you can say that the ego is just the personality you project out. But I think when most people talk about someone being egotistical, I don't think they're talking about that. I think they're actually talking about someone who's more narcissistic, or someone who's just can only kind of think about how they're feeling, or doesn't really care about how another person's feeling, or is, an extreme kind of extrovert or something like that, that just basically doesn't care about how they affect other people. But so I've always been one to try and defend those, and really side with those people, even though now I realise it's not about sides, but I'm just explaining my kind of personality.